Good morning, students. So today in this video we will study about the stem. So what is a stem? The stem is the ascending part of the axis bearing branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. It develops from the plumule part of the embryo of a germinating seed. So this is a diagram of typical plant. So in this plant, the part of the plant which is above the ground, this particular structure it represents the stem, and this is an important characteristic feature of a stem, that a stem possesses nodes and internodes. So what is nodes and internodes? So we will discuss little later. So from which part of the embryo formation of a stem takes place? So this is a diagram of a dicot embryo. So we all know that from radical root will arise, but the stem they arise from the plumule part of embryo. Now the stem bears nodes and internodes. So this is an important characteristic feature of a stem. How we can identify whether it is a stem or root? So stem will possess nodes and internodes. The region of the stem where leaves are born are called nodes. So what is node? So node is that point on a stem from where the leaves and flowers they will arise, while internodes are the portion between two nodes. So suppose that in this diagram, so this this structure is node. Why it is called as node? Because from this structure leaves and flowers they are arising. This one is also node, and the space between two nodes, so that particular space is known as internode. The stem bears buds which may be terminal or axillary. Stem is generally green when young and later often become woody and dark brown. So stem they possess buds, and these buds they may be terminal or axillary. So what is the meaning of terminal and axillary? So these are the buds, this structure which you can see. So these are the buds which give rise to maybe a new leaf, maybe a new flower. So buds are also of two types: axillary buds, and second one is a terminal bud. So first we'll discuss about the axillary bud. So axillary bud are those buds which will arise from the axil. So there is an angle. So there is an angle between the stem and this leaf. So if any bud will arise from this angle, then this type of bud is known as axillary bud. But on the other hand, if any bud will arise from the end part of the stem or terminal part of the stem, then such type of bud is known as terminal bud. So I hope now it is clear that what is axillary bud and what is terminal bud. The main function of the stem is spreading out branches bearing leaves, flowers and fruits. It conducts water, minerals and photosynthesis. So mainly in this slide, what is the function of a stem? It is given. So the main function of a stem is to spreading out branches bearing leaves and flowers and fruits. It also conducts water and minerals and photosynthesis. What is the meaning of photosynthesis? So the end product of photosynthesis is known as photosynthesis. And what is the end product of photosynthesis? So glucose is the end product of photosynthesis. And as the formation of glucose takes place, it will get converted into starch. And in the form of a starch, it will be transported in different parts of the plant with the help of stem. Now we'll study about the modification of stem. So what is modification of stem? So if any function performed by stem apart from these, such as the spreading out of branches of leaves and flowers, fruits, conduction of water, minerals and conduction of photosynthesis, so this is the function. So if any function will be performed by stem apart from these, then it will known as modification of stem. Stem are modified to perform different function. Underground stem of potato, ginger, turmeric, jamin and colocasia are modified to store food. So this is the first modification of stem. So in this case we can see that stem they are modified as a storage organ. So they will store the food. And what will the example? So potato, ginger, turmeric. So these are the example where we can see that the stem they will modified as a storage organ. They also act as a organs of perennation to tide over conditions unfavorable for growth. So suppose that if there will be unfavorable condition, then what will happen? The stem part it will become dormant, and again after the favorable condition will come back. So from there the stem it will germinate and it will give rise to the new plant. So that's why stem they also act as an organ of perennation, and it can be seen in potato. So from potato we can produce new potato plants. Now the next modification of stem is stem tendril. So where the stem they will modify to provide additional support to the plant. So here what is written, stem tendril which develop from axillary buds are slender and spirally coiled and help plants to climb, such as in gourds, cucumber, pumpkins, watermelon and grapevines. So this is the structure of stem tendril. You must have seen the stem tendril. So stem tendril is axillary in nature. So it will not arise from the terminal part of stems. It will arise from the axil. And this stem tendril it will coiled over any support and it will provide additional support to the plant. So this stem tendril is a modification of stem to provide additional support. Now next is axillary buds of stems may also get modified into woody, straight and pointed thorns. Thorns are found in many plants such as citrus plant, bougainvillea plant, and they protect plants from browsing animals. So this is the next modification of stem. So in this slide we can see that the stem they will modify it into thorns. So there is difference between spine and thorns. So thorns are woody, they are straight and pointed structure, and they are the modification of stem. And thorns are found in citrus plant. What is the meaning of citrus plant? So all the plants which are sour in taste, such as lemon, orange, so they are citrus plant. So bougainvillea, in bougainvillea plant also we can see the presence of thorns. So this is the bougainvillea plant, a typical bougainvillea plant. You must have seen this plant around you in your school campus also. This plant is planted, so once your school will reopen you can see this plant. So this structure is the thorns. So this is the thorns of bougainvillea plant. So they are straight, woody and pointed structure. And what is the function of these thorns? So they prevent the plant from the browsing animals. Now some plants of arid regions modify their stems into flattened or fleshy cylindrical structures. They contain chlorophyll and carry out photosynthesis. So this is the next modification of stem, where we can see that stem they will get modified to perform the process of photosynthesis. So in this case the some plants of arid region means dry region, desert area. So in the plant which are found in dry region or arid region, so how they adapt themselves to survive in that condition? So they modify their stem into a flattened or fleshy cylindrical structure, and these structures are generally green in color. They possess chlorophyll pigment and they help in photosynthesis. So in such plants which are found in desert area, they cannot bear leaves. If they will possess leaf, then there will be stomata will be there, and from stomata loss of water will takes place, and already such plants are developing or growing in that arid region where there is a inadequate supply of water is there. So in order to minimize the transpiration, so they cannot bear leaf. So how they will perform the photosynthesis? So they modify their stem into a fleshy green structure which help in process of photosynthesis. So here we have to remember that in opuntia means cactus, it is the scientific name of cactus. The stem is flattened, and the another arid plant which is euphorbia. So in euphorbia the stem is fleshy and cylindrical. So this is the difference between opuntia and euphorbia. Both are found in arid region, but regarding their stem there is difference. The stem of opuntia is flat and green, but the stem of euphorbia is cylindrical and green. So this is the diagram of opuntia. So you can see that the stem is, so this is the stem modified for the process of photosynthesis to conserve water, and they are flat structure. On the other hand, this is the diagram of euphorbia plant. So this plant is also in your biology lab. So once the school will open, I will show you this plant. The scientific name of this plant is Euphorbia hitta. So in this plant you can see that the stem is not flat, the stem is cylindrical. Now next, the underground stem of some plants such as grass and strawberry spread to new niches, and when other parts die, new plants are formed. So this one is a modification of stem as a vegetative organ. So in this slide we can see that the stem, they will produce a new plant, and it is seen in the some grasses and strawberry. So what happened? So this is a diagram of a strawberry plant. So the stem, the the underground stem of this strawberry plant, here you can see that, so it is grow to the some nearby area, and from this underground stem a new daughter plant will produce. Again it will go here and new daughter plant will produce here also. So in this diagram you can see that the modification of stem which will help in the vegetative propagation, which will help in producing new plant. And it is also seen in grass also they increase their number by this method. So this type of stem is known as runner. So so in runner type of stem, the stem will grow parallel to the ground. In plants like mint and jasmine, a cylinder lateral branch arise from the base of the main axis, and after growing aerially for some time arch downwards to touch the ground. Here also the plant, they will use the stem as a vegetative propagation, as a method of vegetative propagation, but it will be little bit different from the previous one. So in this diagram what we see, so it is shown by the mint and jasmine plant. So here you can observe that this particular structure, here the stem, it is not going parallel to the ground, it is getting arch. So finally it will take arch, and finally it will goes down, and then it will give rise to a new plant. So this type of stem is known as stolon, and it is seen in jasmine plant. Another modification of stem, a lateral branch with short internodes and each node bearing a rosette of leaves and a tuft of root, is found in aquatic plants like Pistia and Eichhornia. So in Pistia and Eichhornia plant what we observe, so stem they will modified, they will laterally grow. So laterally a branch of stem will arise with a short internodes, and each node will bearing a rosette of leaves. Rosette means, so from, if many leaves will arise from a single plant, then that is when many leaves will arise from a single point, then that structure will be known as rosette. So rosette of leaf will arise, and tuft of root will also found. So this is example of Eichhornia, which is also known as water hyacinth. So in water hyacinth we can observe that, so this is a stem, so it will laterally grow and it will form a rosette like leaf. So many leaf, they will arise from single point. So this type of structure is known as rosette, and from this point tuft of root will arise. So this is also a modification of stem which will help in increasing the number of this water hyacinth plant. So you must have observed the water hyacinth plant. So this is the real diagram of water hyacinth plant. The scientific name is Eichhornia. So this plant is a type of weed because it it increased their number in a very short span of time, and very short span of time it will cover the entire water body. Now next modification of stem is seen in banana, pineapple and chrysanthemum. The lateral branches originate from the basal and underground portion of the main stem, grow horizontally beneath the soil, and then come out obliquely toward giving rise to a leafy shoot. So in banana and pineapple plant, what we observe, the lateral branch originate from the basal and underground portion of the main stem. So in this diagram you can observe, so this is a diagram of a banana plant. So this is a parent banana plant. So in this parent banana plant, what we observe, that the underground part of the stem, and from the underground part of the stem a lateral branch will emerge out, and this will grow and finally it will form a new individual plant of banana. So this one is also a modification of stem, and this type of modification is also seen in chrysanthemum plant. So this is the real diagram of chrysanthemum. So this much only about the stem and their modification. In next video we'll study about the leaf. Thank you. Have a nice day.